Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it is Wednesday, and Pincolo is calling me randomly right when I've started streaming.
Thanks,
And
Pincolo.
welcome back to the coffee stream.
As if I wasn't pissed off enough as it is. Hi, everybody. No,
What's up?
I read the news,
Yeah, we
so
just
that
went
that
live.
that that just gets you a little hot-blooded. I'm not actually like pissed. Life's too short to be like truly pissed at things,
Right.
except when people say library
Or Tamari.
or or film.
or oh, what's the one that addicting?
Addicting.
That really, for some reason, really gets under my skin. That's really addicting. Do you mean addictive? No, addicting.
Oh, okay, because that's not a word. Oh boy. Hey, Costin, hey, Gun Fox, how you guys doing?
So what part of the news that you read got you upset?
Oh boy. Okay, three main. I'll give you three main things. One is the tragedy in London that
Yeah.
somebody in a truck ran over a family. The other is, and there are related stories to that where, surprise, there's no terrorism charges going on. The whole residential school thing and the response has been atrocious.
Yeah.
Spurred on by, guess who? Everybody's favorite communist domestic terrorist group, BLM.
Yep.
And examples of C10 liberals plan to team up with the bloc to limit the not to support the bill, but to limit the debate on the bill.
Yeah, that's this is like I think the second time that they've stymied a debate
Yeah.
on Bill C10.
Oh, well, Mr. Speaker, me as Prime Minister, we value freedom of speech. How?
Yeah.
You dumb son of a bitch? You
We
Alan
value
Rickman and diehard-looking motherfucker.
we value freedom of speech, but we don't want a debate to happen. And
Oh, we value our free speech. You ask us, clear it with us first, and then we might, allow you to have your free speech.
yeah.
Oh boy. So yeah, those were like three of the main topics that were really getting under my skin this morning when I was reading the news.
Yeah, there and there are like cuz there's I've seen a lot of stupid stuff over on the TikTok about like in comment sections of people expressing outrage over the tragedy in London. For those of you in the States who have no idea what we're talking about, some fucking asshole in a truck decided it would be a grand idea to run over an entire family.
Who were just out for a walk.
Yeah, they were. And when I say an entire family, I mean like grandma, dad, mom, and both kids.
Yeah, Salman Afzal, 46, his wife, Medina Salman, 44, their 15-year-old daughter, Yumna Afzal, and Salman Afzal's 74-year-old mother.
And I think there was a 9-year-old too, wasn't there?
Who survived, thankfully.
Oh my god, the 9-year-old, at least there's a tiny one left. That's
tiny
sad.
Silver lining that, one person survived. But I mean, it's just, oh man.
And I've seen some idiot comments and looks
on both
like
sides.
They get what they're finally somebody hit them with a truck. Like I just actually saw something like a comment like that on TikTok. Oh, finally somebody hit one of their kind with a truck. It's like, really?
In polite company, I would never utter those words, especially after something like this happened. It doesn't matter if they're Muslim or Jewish or Christian, atheist, or a fucking potato. I don't care. That's just. But you know what? Those jokes are okay when you're sitting at home with your buddies, you're having a couple Millers. then yeah, crack some jokes. You don't go on fucking social media and start ranting about somebody's family who just got fucking murdered.
Well,
Or supposedly murdered, because we don't know the facts about any of this.
and to be honest, like there are quite a good bunch of Muslims in Canada who
Yep.
came here and they actually want to be here. Like
Yeah, yeah.
and they
Most of them
actually
do.
want to be Canadian and they actually want to be productive Canadians. Like and to lump, you know, to lump, some, because there's bad people from every walk of life, right? And to
Yeah.
lump them in, to lump the good ones in with the bad ones.
Mr. Yes asks what the race of the driver was. From accounts, it's believed that they're white,
Yeah.
but I've also seen some less than savory people say that he's Jewish.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, and I don't want to lessen the tragedy in any way. I'm simply talking about the response from people in power. Remember, a while ago, there was an anti-Jewish, not just an anti-Israeli, anti-Jewish rally in Hamilton, I believe. Hamilton, St. Catharines, something somewhere around that area. And these students and some of their supporters who were older, walking down the streets, just chanting "Death to Jews," "Eradicate the Jews," "The Jews we do not need the Jews," whatever, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
racist, bigoted shit. Nobody in government, nobody in the city council, nobody said shit. The media almost barely, like I had to dig to find actual facts of that story.
Yeah. Like
Silent.
I've seen the sensational parts of it plastered all over the media, like
Yeah.
oh, the family, the family, the family, but I haven't seen like the bare bone, like the bones of what's going on, like. And
Yeah, because I
Pinkala,
mean, it is an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
They can't just release everything. I
No.
understand that. I'm the type of person, I have my initial visceral response, but then I take a step back and I go, okay, now in 2 months when they hit me with the facts, then I'll feel a little bit more complete when thinking about this story.
Yeah.
It's
And
murder, straight up.
Yeah. Pinkalo said, unfortunately, this one was race motivated. Yeah.
It looks that
was.
way, but I want to hear the facts of it.
Yeah.
I'm intend. It's one of those things I hear and I'm intended to believe it because
Yeah.
it does make sense. Not sorry, poor choice of words. The act did not make sense. I meant if it's racially motivated or culturally motivated in some way, it kind of makes sense that he did. Oh God,
what's it called? The opinion that it may be race motivated makes sense, is what you're trying to
to
say.
the crime. Like why?
Yeah.
What are some of the reasons somebody putting my brain into that kind of mindset, which is really tough.
Yeah.
What kinds of things would motivate people to do those types of targeted, just egregious attacks onto another person? And yeah, unfortunately, a lot of them have to do with culture, race, or religion.
Yeah.
So it's tragedy, and I wanted to pay my personal respects to somebody who was people that were needlessly murdered and put their names out there, because there is that saying that you die two deaths. The Sanguine's fond of this saying, your first physical death, and then when somebody forgets you.
Yep.
And I want to remember this because it's a tragedy. But I think again, going back to the response in the media and in the government, it's completely disproportionate.
It's another nothing burger. They're not doing anything.
No, they immediately Trudeau was like, "Oh, this is," and other speakers too was like, "Oh, this is terrorism. This is terrorism." Based on what facts? Right. Okay, shut up. Hold your fucking tongue. Wait until the police do their goddamn jobs. Now you can tell I'm getting a little this is why I'm heated about this.
I don't think we should be saying that like it was absolutely murder. And it was absolute, like, I can say, I'm willing to say it was murder, and that it was
Potential hate crime.
and it
Yeah.
was a potential hate crime. Am I going to say it was terrorism? No. I don't think that that's terrorism, because while it's targeted and while it's a, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, that's not really the definition of terrorism.
Yeah.
It feels like saying that this is terrorism is just another virtue signal, because
Certainly.
how many times have, rightly or wrongly, have people cried terrorism whenever a Muslim person is the suspect in something, right? So
Yeah.
now to virtue signal, because that's what they do best, they are saying that this is terrorism, when in fact it is absolutely murder and quite potentially a hate crime, but absolutely not terrorism.
And yet, what's today? The 8th, 9th, and 2 days ago, another almost identical thing happened.
Mm.
I'm going to let you in the chat fill in the victims, but we haven't heard diddly shit about that. And
about which again? Can you remind me?
3 adults, 1 teen dead after pedestrian struck by driver in London, Ontario crash. Second child is in hospital with serious injuries.
Yeah.
Again, London, Ontario, same city for those unfamiliar with our area. And this family again was just walking down the street, walking with their family all together. A 20-year-old in a car hit them, drove off, killed 4,
Jesus
and the
Christ.
child, again, miraculously, the child survived, the youngest.
That one I didn't hear about.
That's my point, BP. That's my point. It's so uneven, and it's like, well, why aren't, even in the articles I found from CBC, from the National Post, etc., no comments of, oh, why, what was the motivation? It just, this happened. Within minutes of that story being, the first story being posted, people were like, hate crime, this, that, everything in between.
Right.
And I'm just like, it's so...
No, it needs to be equal. It needs to be taken with equal... because you don't just accidentally kill 4 people with your car.
Yeah.
Like, you have to try, especially if they're walking.
On the sidewalk,
like, you have to try.
And I saw footage of the area where they were hit.
Mm-hmm.
There's the curb is the curb sidewalk, so it's right beside each other. But there's the 2 meter or meter and a half bike lane area.
Right.
So it's quite a wide berth in a 2-lane street either way. Yeah, you're right. That does seem rather intentional at first glance.
Yeah.
Again, it's another story I'm going to just keep in the back of my mind, hopefully get some more information of that, because I want to compare 2 very similar, very locally similar cases and what the media treatment is.
Yeah, Asia Research Directorate. Yes, two killings.
It's in the same city.
Yeah.
When was the first one? Is Sunday. So that was the 5th. On the 7th is when the second one happened. So 2 days apart. Oh, no, Sunday was the 6th.
Yeah.
So a day apart.
Jesus
2
Christ.
families, 2 automobile, let's call them killings, and a completely disproportionate amount of coverage for one and almost no coverage for the other. And just at first glance, I'm looking at the victims And I'm not going to outright say it, but it does seem like things are a little bit skewed here.
And I would also like to say that while what happened in London is absolutely a tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
why does it feel like everybody has shifted their focus to that off of the residential schools?
I still see a lot of stuff about that. But you're right. The government immediately shifted the talking point because they know that, they're kind of on the hook for this. What I have, and this is the other thing that made me angry, is that now there's this immediate backlash to modern day Canada. And I know the last school was closed in the 70s. I know it's relatively,
Well, the last
but
school was actually closed in 96.
96. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. My mistake. Um, so I know it was fairly recent, but the treatment of students in these types of schools, boarding schools, has improved markedly across all different brands of these schools, not just the native residential schools, but modern schooling. Hell, when I was a kid, I remember when I did something wrong, that the teacher would slap my hand with a wooden ruler.
Mm.
If we were talking in class while a lesson was going on, a chalkboard eraser was thrown at our heads, or pieces of chalk. Like, I
Yeah, we had a teacher in middle school that was a throwback from that era because he was like, and he definitely was not, it was not acceptable in two, like, in, because I was in grade 7 and 8 in like 2001, 2002.
mhm.
But this teacher was like, this was a French teacher. He would, like you said, he would throw bits of chalk at people. He
Yeah.
would throw erasers at people. He would, but he was also a raging asshole. He was supposed to be the French teacher. His name was Mr. Weber, very French sounding name.
Mhm.
And he spoke French like this: Bonjour, class. Comment ça va?
Uh,
Torn a la page. Like that. Like,
yeah.
and then when somebody else would mispronounce a French word, because his pronunciation was so good, he would put on this really awful, like, hick Quebec accent. I don't understand.
Hi, hi, hi.
It was like, wow, you're kind of a racist jerk, but okay.
And you're right, Asian Research Directorate. The government. Excuse me. Excuse me. Something stuck in my throat. The government is responsible for those schools, and there should definitely be investigation, court proceedings, the whole nine. Because if there was misdeeds, then they should be investigated, and people responsible, if they're still alive today, should face some sort of abuse charges or whatever. But my point is, again, there's a marked difference, because if I were to go back to the school board and say, hey, look, I was abused at my school, they'd laugh at me.
Yeah, but I would posit that what what
I know
what
they're not
we went
entirely
through
equal.
in public school is much tamer than
I don't know.
what
I
they
didn't
went
go to a
through.
residential school, but
Yeah.
I had my ass beaten
Yeah,
in school
by a teacher.
by teachers, by staff.
Yeah,
In one case, it was the vice principal who gave me a quote unquote spanking. She used a fist.
my
Because when she
grandfather
spanked me, I laughed.
my grandfather will tell story because he went to St. Jerome's Catholic school.
Oh boy.
In the 50s.
Yeah.
My grandfather will tell stories of priests, like, apparently one of them had a hockey stick that he liked to use. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know that they're not equal. I know that they're not on equal footing. I'm just saying there's been abuses, and there has to be some point where we say
I think
some criticisms are valid in the court of law and some just aren't.
I think what we need to focus on to move forward is the fact that the government, ongoing after the closures, have been trying to cover up what's been happening.
Yes.
What was happening.
Yes,
Like,
I think that's the real story.
We need to focus on that, because the more any, like, and this is true for any kind of trauma, right? The more you sit and wallow in it, the more you're never gonna get, you're never gonna get past it, right? And as horrible as all the trauma that has been inflicted on the indigenous community is, we have to punish the people for covering it up. We have to force actual proactive change.
Yes.
Like, clean water, for example, or providing, like, not just handing out welfare checks to the people on reservations, like providing them with job opportunities, right? Providing their kids with education, like good education, that their band,
free from abuse.
Yeah, that their tribe can control, perhaps. And, do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm a little torn on that, but I overall agree with you.
Put the education back in the hands of the band. Like, don't listen. First of all, the government always says, we've been working hard with indigenous leadership. No, you've been working hard with hereditary chiefs that make you look good. The actual elected chiefs wanted, like, for example, that pipeline, right?
Yeah.
There was like 80% of the reservations and bands that lived along there.
Much income
they
for them.
Wanted exactly. They wanted the income. They wanted the jobs. They wanted all of the infrastructure that would have come with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the hereditary chiefs were like, no, our land. And the government was like, okay. And it was like, what, 15-20% of the people that said no, and the government listened to them?
Yep.
It was like, but they've been working hard with the leadership, with the indigenous leadership, to do what's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hate the do nothing pandering that is also coming out of it, because I also read another story today, because one of the survivors, quote unquote survivors of the residential schools, was given an honorary Doctor of Laws degree. He's not a lawyer. He never studied the law. And their reason for giving him this honorary doctorate, for his efforts as an elder and spiritual advisor. That to me is just pandering.
Yeah,
bullshit.
no, that's not helpful. You, like, do what, because there's another survivor, I can't remember her name, but she's been going around and doing interviews with,
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Different news outlets.
Yeah.
To shed light on what happened.
Yeah,
right?
share her story.
Share the story. Like, that is way more helpful than giving somebody a piece of paper that says that they are a doctor when they're not. Like, all they're trying to do is make individual people feel better instead of
fixing the problem.
Fixing things.
Yeah. You want to hear another nothing effort from the NDP? While everything is going on, this is something that they brought up. They wanted unanimous consent to label the residential school experience as genocide. Somebody needs to buy that MP Leah Gazan a fucking dictionary on what so she can look up the word genocide. Tragedy, maybe. Genocide?
Yeah, the one that, because they call it a cultural genocide, that what we've done to the indigenous people. And I don't, I think that we've definitely tried to squash their culture. I really do, and I think that's wrong. I think we cannot call ourselves a cultural mosaic and celebrate all of the different cultures that immigrate here and then turn around and tell the indigenous people they can't do what they do. Right? I think that's incredibly hypocritical. However, you can't genocide culture.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. That's not what genocide means.
But I mean, it's
Is
not
it
so much
wrong?
about
Yes.
that. It's like this is what they're wasting their time on to try to pass some unanimous motion on the floor to label it a genocide.
Well,
We
and
still don't even know what happened to the 215 bodies that were found. We
the
haven't gone
thing
through the
is that,
examination progress, but they want to label it all genocide
well,
anyway.
and
It's
the other thing is that we have to be careful. Our our political leaders are not thinking straight, because if we start saying that we've committed genocide, the fuck do you think the international community is gonna do?
well, it is the NDP. They're basically communists, so
No,
they're
but
all
I
for
mean,
the downfall of Western society.
if the liberal do they not even think the way that they're handling this? Like, the international community could very well, there are countries, I'm sure, that would love to revenge sanction us.
Sure.
And we are giving them no shortage of ammo by our government without even um oh, sorry, my mom just texted me.
It's okay.
My mom's asking if my oldest ate lunch.
Well, why do you think they want to push C10 so hard and so quick? Is so that when shit like this comes up, they can just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
There was
That's the
this
biggest
happened?
problem.
No, it didn't. Look on the internet. There's nothing about it. Yeah, no. Screw this. Screw them. It's funny though. Mentioning the C10 debate, the Liberals in the Bloc Québécois voted to limit the debate on the bill. The Conservatives, NDP, and Green Party all voted against the time allocation. It's very interesting. I'm very happy with that, because that means there might be there very well, excuse me, there very might well be opposition to limiting the discussion on this, which is really important, because as we know, censorship of any kind is bad. Complete and utter government control of censorship on the internet.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that are happening right now that are almost ensuring that Trudeau is never going to get a coalition going.
I really don't think he's got a chance in hell.
Because I was getting worried in the winter, back in February and March and all that, because it really looked for a bit like Jagmeet and Trudeau were going to buddy up. And with Trudeau really, really fucking up this whole residential school thing.
Yeah.
And the C10, just all this stuff.
But you notice nobody's talking about the we scandal anymore. Nobody's talking about the money that just changed hands and been laundered, and it's just, oh boy. Trudeau even said he wants to, in response to the car killing, wants to dismantle far right groups like they did with the Proud Boys and label them terrorist groups like the Proud Boys. And it's like every last thing this guy does is objectively wrong.
Like, the Proud Boys never advocated for getting in your car and running minorities down. I'm sorry.
They never lit buildings on fire or tore down statues or vandalized neighborhoods like
they
BLM.
never did any of that shit. They never advocated for any of that shit. Some of them are freaking... They all... You know, they're old Proud Boys are far-right racists. Do you know how many black gay men are in the Proud Boys?
Oh, yeah, they're more diverse
than... For fuck's sakes, come on.
They're more diverse than Antifa. They're more diverse than BLM.
Like, and so many of them are military or ex-military. Like, patriot. Like, they've served their country. But they're terrorists? Like, wow. Okay.
Western chauvinism. Thinking that Western culture is the best culture to date? You know what? Count me as one of them. I'm a fucking terrorist now in the eyes of my own government.
Yep.
Even though I'm just some cripple behind a computer screen. Like, go fuck yourself, Trudeau. Seriously. He's one of, like, the handful of people that if they ever, like, walking down the street and then just, like, cross my path, I would bop him in the face with my cane.
Yep. Oh,
and I'm not a violent person.
If I ever ran into Trudeau, I'd just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Whack.
Right between the legs. Whack.
If I wanted to hit him right between the legs, I'd aim for Sophie's purse. But
oh, play pinata.
Oh my god. No, it's just sad that our government is so inactive. And so
no, they're not inactive.
I shouldn't say reactive. They're reactionary instead of proactive.
Yeah, because they do things. They just don't do anything to help.
Yeah.
Or address issues or fix things. In fact, they propose issues that will make things worse. Demonstrably.
And then when you tell them that, they're like, oh, you're just a crazy conspiracy theorist. You're racist. You're... Like, even when members of the opposition do that, they're like, oh, well, you can see how racist.
Yeah, oh, well, dude, the other day I told Prospero this. 20 years I've been this person's friend. 20 years. Half of my life.
Right.
And I said that anybody who's going to vandalize a neighborhood, light things on fire, tear down somebody's statue, because that's somebody's property. I don't care what the statue represents. The statue didn't kill anybody, unfortunately. It didn't topple on anybody. That those people are pieces of shit that don't deserve to be in this society. I got called a racist.
Wow.
I actually had to do some research to figure out why. Oh, because it was BLM spurred. So I can't critique somebody because they may or may not be black, even though most BLM members at least in my city, are white.
Most BLM members, like, and it's just so, like, to say that you shouldn't be toppling statues is racist is...
It's not toppling statues. We live in a civilized, and this is another word he took umbrage with, was me saying civilized society. Yeah. We don't do things. We don't act violently. No. We do things the right way. You want to petition Ryerson? Go get 10,000 signatures, petition Ryerson, and give them the reasons. Hey, this guy helped build the residential school system, was in favor of it, blah, 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 blah. Okay. What did he actually do?
Yeah.
Because to me, in my mind, and the road of good intentions is paved, or the
road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can understand, hey, let's bring people that are not as advanced educationally or technologically, let's bring them up to speed. Now, not to say that I approve of the residential school system, how it played out, because obviously I don't. I think it was a fucking mess of epic proportions. Thanks, government. Thanks, church. The Catholic Church. Thank you.
Yeah.
But so you have to then investigate, was Ryerson in favor of the abuse and the taking children from their parents, or was he in favor of the system that was good intentioned and had voluntary enrollment? And actually, in some cases, some schools, you had to prove that you had the grades to go to said school.
Yeah. Like, or at the very least, petition them to put the statue in a museum or something.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, do it the right way.
Don't throw it in the fucking lake. Now we have to get it out of the lake.
Well, you know who pays for that, right? The school.
Or
the school.
Yeah.
And who funds the school? Well, it's the taxpayer and the people who go to that school.
Mm-hmm.
So you're destroying public-private property. You don't get to do that in a civilized society. I can't go to this friend of 20 years. I can't go to his house and go, you know what? Do you remember when you dropped the N-bomb 19 years ago? Oh, you don't? Well, fuck you, and start spray painting his walls and kick over his TV.
Right.
You can't do that because it's I'm a civilized person. Yeah. We're civilized people. Now, if I walked up to him and I said, look, I don't appreciate that, you said some things in your past that are now considered of bad taste, at the very least. How do you feel today? No, if he said, oh, whatever, and thought nothing of it, I'd be like, okay. There's proof that he hasn't changed his ways. He hasn't learned in 19 years.
Yeah.
But to immediately resort to violence, that is a clear indication that you are not a civilized person, regardless of your ethnicity, your religion. Again, I don't care if you're an animatronic potato.
Yeah, the word civilized means nothing to your skin color or your religious beliefs or whatever. It just means your ability to conduct yourself in society like everybody else
Treat
does.
others as you wish to be treated.
Yeah.
It is the prime tenement to modern civilized society. I don't murder you because I don't wish to be murdered. I'm not going to steal your apple because I don't wish my apple to be stolen.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I won't burn your house down because I like my house.
And Pincalo brings up, some development in that statue issue, that they're not going to recover the statue. They're going to, they'll probably put it in the Royal Ontario Museum, to be frank.
Well, they're not.
But they're not going to be putting it back up, and they're going to be cleaning up the graffiti and the vandalism that was in the neighborhood of that. Because they won't show the CBC, National Post, Toronto Star. They're not going to show you the pictures of the rest of the neighborhood. But I had a friend who lives two blocks or a block and a half away from where that happened.
Damn, Gunfox. Thank you, dude. Let me go and get the message. Thank you for the donation, my friend.
But she showed me some pictures just from her phone, and there was litter. There was intentional litter.
Yeah.
Spray paint, little fires lit here and there. This was a mob.
Yeah. And have you seen any footage from the Montreal riots?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. You need a better computer, says Gunfox.
Oh, thank you, Gunfox.
Thank you for the donation, dude. Holy crap. Thank you so much, man. And also, thank you for showing up to the to the game stream last night and hanging out on break. That was awesome.
Yeah, I saw you were streaming. I had my Warcraft raid, so I couldn't
Yeah, I had
razz you in chat.
I had what's it called? I had the oldest home all day with me yesterday, so I couldn't do it in the afternoon.
Hmm.
So I just ended up streaming, and I wanted to stream at 10:30, but the 4-year-old wanted mommy cuddles to go to sleep, so I had to stream later on. But um, let's see. So yeah, like there's just been all these riots, and riots do nothing. People.
uh, do they though, BP? Because they seem to be getting their way. Historically, riots. You know what happened to? We don't negotiate with terrorists. We don't negotiate with violent insurgents.
Well,
Traditional liberal ideas. Liberalism as the philosophy of governance, not as the Liberal Party or the colloquial, ironic term of liberals for leftists down south. I mean, it's this isn't what we're about,
yeah.
and I guess that's what makes me the most upset, the most saddened, is that it doesn't seem like, in the '90s seems to be the pinnacle of our modernization of Western society, and then everything just started going over that hill and down, and then we're at a really low point right now. I don't think it's yeah.
Iluan says the only vandalism I was ever behind was at ULF. They scratched the hell out of Paul Bernardo's graduation photo. All the other ones were left intact. Yeah, I'm good. I'm down with that.
Sure. Yeah. At the same time, I want pictures of his face.
Just gone.
No, actually, I want people to know his face. I want them to remember how much of a monster he was. Because if he ever does get out of prison, I want people who see him on the street to go, "That's that fucking serial killer Paul Bernardo who thought it was funny to kill little girls."
I don't think Karla Homolka should have gotten plastic. Like, I don't think she should have been allowed plastic surgery.
I don't think she should have been given the sentence she did either.
Oh God, no!
Hey,
that plea deal was a joke.
But hey, we treat women very differently than we do men in the
that was
criminal system.
Outrageous. 12 years was all she got for what she did, and she, I would say, was just as sick as Paul Bernardo.
Oh, entirely.
Like, you to gift your little sister to your boyfriend for Christmas. Like, what the?
I don't even want to go down that route right now.
Ugh. Anyway,
they are bad people.
They are bad people, and so this is what's been going on here in Canada. We've got our government. Pink Carlos says the only problem is if they let Paul out, they'll give him the Karla Homolka treatment. They will.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lord Famine.
Hey, Famine. Where were you going with government?
I've got a tiny clip of
I always hope so.
Question period. I kind of like the deputy leader of the opposition, actually. She's just as, what's the word I'm looking for? She doesn't let up in questions. And this clip, we're gonna talk about, is they're talking about the Chinese scientists that were in the lab.
Oh.
So we're gonna play that little clip. We're gonna listen to the minister's response, and then we're gonna react to that. So I'm just gonna paste this here.
Hot take before we get into clip chat. I am for gain-of-function research. I'll let that percolate while she brings up the...
There we go. Let's get into Twitter.
Oh, you're
So
still finding it? Okay.
yeah, yeah. I've paid. I've
Because
sent it to myself. But
I would think that we find a remote part of Canada or the United States away from any sort of civilization and study that ourselves, because we need to know how to combat these types of things as they evolve.
yeah.
I don't think we should be giving it to China where there's no regulation, no regard for human life,
Well, they
etc.
gave they walked out of there with Ebola and something else. I can't
Yeah,
remember what it was, but it was two of the most deadly viruses that we have. Like,
yeah, but I don't think Obama and Fauci, by extension, banning gain of function research and then paying China to do it.
yeah, that no. I don't agree with that either.
I find that criminal. I'll just
Yeah,
say it.
because it's better to do it ourselves because we have the laws in place to do it ethically.
Yeah. Pincalo says lab in Manitoba was for that research. You are correct, sir. Again, though, let's don't forget that a lot of there were quite a few Chinese scientists and military personnel also working at that lab. And the CDC does have laboratories that did that, but they outlawed it. Obama outlawed specific gain of function research. They can still research the natural progression. They can't alter the genes to make them more infectious or to spur on mutations.
Yeah.
So I
Come
mean, it's a
on,
very
bro.
distinct
Jesus.
thing. But again, like to outlaw it and then say, here, China, here, have millions of dollars to do this research for us, and then, oh, lo and behold, not to mention we're already seeing reports of China's reporting the first cases of H1N3 bird flu in humans.
Oh God.
Can we
Of
just
course.
can we just nuke the site from orbit? It's the only way to be sure at this point. It feels like Aliens, like the movie Aliens with Ripley.
It does. It's
Like the Xenos are just these viruses just keep coming out of there. SARS, bird flu, different variations of. I mean, how long before we I just, like, you can tell I'm out of a loss of words. Like, what do we do?
exactly. Okay, I have it queued up. Let's go and share this here. So, we have there's a little bit of a blurb that the leader of the opposition is asking about the tragedy in London, and then so you're gonna hear her say thank you for that answer. That's what that's in regards to.
Okay.
And then she's gonna move into the security issue. And of course, we're going to hear the Liberal minister tout the NSI COB, the National Security, whatever, Committee of Parliamentarians. But apparently, the government is about to be in contempt of the House of Commons.
Ooh,
So
spicy.
yeah, this is getting interesting. So here we go. Let's go Chrome tab and click on that and share the audio and share the screen. Okay. So here we go. We have the deputy leader of the opposition, and I think the Minister for Defense is who she's
Okay.
talking to, or the
And
Minister.
Can we just say how much we love the Speaker of the House?
I love the way he's so deadpan, right? The honorable leader of the office, like the way he
Like, but
just
when
calls-
someone fires off a zinger and he kind of like, and now the honorable right minister from blah blah blah.
Yep.
Yeah, sort of like, okay, hit me. All
Yeah,
right.
I love how he calls on Polyev, he always goes, the honorable member for Carlton.
Yeah, because he loves his zingers.
He does. He really does.
And that's what makes a good Speaker of the House. He's not partisan. He's
like, I'm just here to watch the fun, you guys.
Yeah, he's that Michael Jackson meme sitting there eating the popcorn. I'm just here to read the comments, you know?
Yep. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the Minister for that answer. Mr. Speaker, the Canada-China Committee twice ordered for the documents to be made public relating to the firing of the 2 scientists from the lab in Winnipeg. The government refused. The House ordered the documents last week. The Liberals are again refusing and are blatantly defying the orders of this House. What is the Liberal government so eager to cover up that it's willing to be found in contempt of the House of Commons?
The Honourable Minister.
That's a good question.
Oh,
well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I will point out that these documents have been turned over to the National Security Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians. This multi-partisan committee will now be able to review the documents in a secure fashion. And of course, we support the committee in that review.
That's your answer?
She's one of the main bitches who fucking failed this country because of the COVID response. Go fuck yourself, Minister. Help my ass.
Well, because they put the military in charge of vaccine deployment. Because that makes sense.
Yeah, why not? Why not go the Florida route and let pharmacies do it? Oh, wait. That would be racist. I don't know why. It's something I heard. But another non-answer from Hajdu.
Thank you, Gunfox, again.
Oh, Gunfox.
Functional. Okay, I say if only if the lab is run by U.S. and Canadian citizens with zero contact with the Chinese. Yes.
Oh, agreed. Like something like that kind of research has to be strictly watched, regulated, and the people working in those labs have to be vetted. Yeah. Again, that's why I'm, in theory, on board with such kinds of potentially less than ethical research vectors, because we need to have that control. Again, don't give it to a country that doesn't give a shit about human life like China.
Exactly. And then here is the deputy leader's response here.
Deputy Leader of the Opposition.
Well, Mr. Speaker, that was not the order of this House. That order was to present those documents to the House of Commons and to be made public. The 2 scientists in question transferred 2 of the deadliest diseases in the world to the Wuhan Institute of Virology in March of 2019. That lab is now the subject of an American investigation into the origins of COVID-19. It also is the subject of numerous questions posed by the U.S. State Department regarding how it handled the virus strains. So I ask again, what is our Canadian government so desperately to cover up regarding what happened at the lab in Winnipeg that they are prepared to be in contempt of the House of Commons?
And here we have another non-answer with a lot of weird language. And just listen to how she tries to minimize this.
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yet again, we see the opposite, trying to conflate this situation with the origins of COVID-19. And indeed, the director of the lab has indicated that this is in no way connected to COVID-19, which, as you know, arose much time later.
Much time later. Not even a year, you dumb bitch.
What does that have to do with our lab?
Nothing. But not even a year later, right? Fucking these 2 viruses were transferred in March of 2019. COVID started in November of 2019. But it was there was so much time. There was so much time, Functional. It's impossible. And how dare you conflate the theft of those 2 diseases fucking 8 months before COVID started. That's just outrageous.
Yeah.
Fuck off. And then she continues.
the National Security Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians is the appropriate committee to review these documents. They have the ability to review these documents in a secure manner, something all Canadians expect.
L'honorable député.
So, and it's just the Louis Saint Laurent Parliament, a member of Parliament, pretty much asking the same question. But yeah, this is the Liberal Party's
That's our Liberals
handling of this thing. Oh, well, put it before the Committee of Parliamentarians. You know, we didn't used to have that. Like, that's what they said. Oh, you know, we didn't used to have that. You know, the Conservative government didn't have that, and we put that in place, you know. Aren't we awesome?
I have the weirdest cat.
What's she doing?
She is hanging off the top of the bed. Her claws are dug in, but she's hanging off the side of the bed, just dangling upside down, looking at me.
Spider cat. Spider cat.
Her name is Monkey.
Does whatever a spider cat does.
Okay, now she's going to go lie down on the bed. Okay, good. Because her name is Monkey for a reason, but I had to bring that up because it was so weird but so cute. I love her to death, but she's so weird sometimes.
That's just weird.
I needed a moment of cuteness to sort of cleanse the palate.
Yeah, but that was just such a nothing.
None answered.
And they keep, as soon, like, Trudeau started this last week when the members opposite were grilling him. Oh, breaking news.
Oh,
Apple News just dinged. Apparently, the federal government has just announced that by early July, travelers who are fully vaccinated and returning home may skip the 14-day quarantine, provided that they test negative for COVID-19 upon arrival. And yeah. So it looks like now they're finally going to start accepting people's vaccine records from other countries. I don't know.
Yeah, because there was that little snafu at the beginning of these forced stays where only 2 out of the 6 vaccines were admissible.
Yeah.
And there was a story, I believe we covered it several months ago, where the woman was coming back but got the wrong, quote unquote, wrong vaccine.
Yeah.
And so they threw her in the forced stay at the hotel anyway.
There was a story I covered on Friday, I believe, where an elderly couple came back from Israel. It was a rabbi and his wife. And they had 2 letters, one from a Toronto doctor and one from an Israeli doctor, saying that due to the rabbi's diabetes and the wife's hypertension and anxiety, and due to the fact that they had both doses that they got in Israel, that they should be allowed to quarantine in their apartment. And the border agents were like, no, fuck your papers, fuck your vaccines, go to the hotel. And the rabbi was like, no, we're not doing that. And they're like, okay, $3,700 for each of you. There's your ticket.
And let's not forget, folks, when the government says you have to quarantine in one of these hospital locations, you pay for it. Mm-hmm. Not the taxpayer. The person being forcibly sent there is paying for it. So I'm guessing that these fines are a percentage higher than the actual cost of the stay. But that's ridiculous. That is so goddamn ridiculous.
Oh, Gunny, congratulations, bud.
Yep, number 3 on the way.
Good job, dude. Good man. But yeah, this is just getting ridiculous. Like, and I just want to go see my best friend, and she lives in Ontario.
Yeah.
But I just want to be able to go to fucking Kingston. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, I've been complaining to Elwin that I really want to make a visit up to the Kawarthas, like Lindsay.
Yeah.
But we don't have a car, so it's a little difficult because that area, which is all dairy country for Ontario, just such a glorious slice of Canadian.
Beautiful up there.
Yeah. You get the Kawartha creameries. You have cottage country. You have forest trails.
Tons of lakes to swim in.
Lakes, the lift locks.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Kingston's fun too.
It's like we are chomping at the bit to get up to our cottage. And it's only an hour. It's only an hour away from where we are.
Okay.
But it's still like, and the crappy part is that, you know, the assholes from Barrie have infiltrated. Oh, we want to build cottages here now. No, go the other way.
Did you hear what happened to Wasaga? What was it, last weekend?
No.
Oh, tons of people showed up to Wasaga Beach.
I bet.
And they left. The entire beach was like just covered, strewn in garbage.
I bet.
I bet you anything it's the city. It's
the fucking townies and city. It's they show up, right? They trash the place. They make a ruckus while they're there.
And it's not just there too. I used to work at the restaurant that I worked at was right on Lake Ontario. So on like May 2-4 weekend, you know, super busy weekends.
Yep.
Wall-to-wall people for fireworks and boat shows and all this other stuff. And when they'd leave, garbage for miles.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, how dare you call yourselves Canadians?
It's so frustrating. Like, because my family built that cottage in 1954 up there. So the townsfolk that live there, they know us, right?
Yeah.
They know that we come up there. We basically close for the winter, and we don't even do that because sometimes we go, fuck it, we want to freeze our asses off for the weekend, and
we
we
need
go
to
up,
escape.
we go up for the winter anyway.
Oh, for sure.
But they know that we're not like stupid idiots, right?
Yeah.
Like, we come up there to escape. We take care of our property as best we can. Like, we enjoy it up there. And then we've got, you know, there's an asshole that moved in about 5 years ago who's building this monstrosity of a house at the top of the hill. And we have a feeling that he's got ins with Ontario Hydro or Hydro One or whatever it's called now, because our neighbor had a dock on at the shore there which is technically on Crown land.
Yes.
But it was there for God knows how long, right? And all of a sudden, some Hydro One guys show up and are like, "You got to tear that out, like now." And they made him tear it out, and it was mysteriously after this new guy showed up. It's like, asshole.
And I really hate those people who basically build those giant monstrosities in the heart of cottage country and just stink up the place.
It's not even done. He's been working on it for 5 years. It's not even fucking finished. It's like he's doing it to piss off the townies. It's really frustrating. Like, to piss off the people that live there. It's like he's just purposely taking
being
forever.
an instigator.
Yeah. Nobody in that town wants him there. Everyone there. Like, there was one guy who was like, fuck it, you guys can use my dock if you want. Like, there was just like, everybody was just like, and then we've started putting, we're just like, fuck it, we're still going swimming down there. Because our cottage is about literally like 100 feet from the lake, maybe 200 feet. You walk down a path and you go, and there's the lake. And we're just like, fuck it, we're still swimming here. We don't care. And everybody's like, nobody cares. Like, nobody's paying this guy any mind.
Elwin, I think we're going to have to kidnap them.
City people are some of the dumbest people on the planet, says Gunfox. You know what?
You're not wrong, because there's
yeah.
such a hyper polarization of some of the dumbest people and some of the smartest people.
Yep. It's true. And it's really fun. You know you've got a citiate with you when you... It's the best way to weed out people. It's honestly... Our cottage has become kind of a testing ground to see if new people can handle being in our family. Because not only are we all in close quarters and you kind of like really get to know each other because we're all staying up late drinking and around the fire, and our cottage is literally a living room and kitchen with sleeping rooms off of each, like literally sleeping areas. There's no place to really hang out in the bedrooms. It's just like put your shit in your room and sleep there, and then you're out in in the main room or outside for the rest of for the day.
Yeah.
And there's not even real doors. It's like, you know, those straw folding panels.
Yeah, they're basically just dividers.
Yeah. So that plus no running water, right? So it's a test. Basically, every time somebody starts a new relationship, it's like, let's go to the cottage for family weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that to me, that is real cottaging. Like, that's when I would spend my summers up at. It was basically a one-room building that was actually smaller than the bedroom I'm sitting in now, with a iron stove.
Yep.
Fire stove, and that was it. And a cot.
Yeah.
Countertop to prepare stuff, but there was no running water. I had to walk. Luckily, the water source was like 20 feet away. There was a pump as well as a waterfall with crystal clear river water.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah, it was like a 40-foot waterfall. Beautiful, beautiful. And the closest neighbors were probably about 5 kilometers away.
Nice.
It was in the middle of the bush, dude.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, this is this is what I upgraded to after I did survival training, where I basically just went out into the one backpack. That was it. Went out into the wilderness. You know, you needed something that was a little bit more civilized.
Yeah.
A little bit of shelter, a little bit of stuff that's already pre-made, like having the stove there and everything. Yeah. And it just great to just get away and write or paint, or just for the sake of reconnecting with nature.
Yeah, like Pancalo and I, when we go up there, we try our best not to be on our phones unless we're like taking pictures or something.
Yeah, of course.
Or like getting videos of the kids.
Get stuff with the kids, yeah.
Something like that. But we try really hard not to like jump on Twitter or go on YouTube or whatever. We're just like, you know.
That's good.
We're up at the cottage. We're having fires and chopping wood and.
Last time I brought 2 friends up to the cottage with me, or I should say shack. It's not even a cottage. To the shack with me. Yeah, we'd spend most of the day. We're just hanging out, just drinking beers, tending to the fire, and obviously, first, me being Mr. Chef, first thing in the morning, side of pig, properly seasoned, wrap that shit in a nice layer of foil, bury it about 4 feet deep on some hot embers, cover with hot embers and dirt, and then wait until dinner time, till like 6-7 p.m. Uncover that bitch and just go to town with some grilled veggies. Oh man,
that sounds amazing. That seriously sounds amazing.
Not that particular time, Gun Fox. Just good male friends. It was, boys' weekend, just away from the city, away from females, just to be men, drink beer, sit in the forest, play with fire.
Every so often, we dump the kids off with my mom.
Just have a nice weekend.
And Pinkalo and I just run away to the cottage.
One of my friends that weekend built what he called a firefall.
Oh God.
And it is a waterfall that is fire. So he stacked a bunch of stones. I don't know what he put in, like probably barbecue starter and a whole bunch of kindling. But the fire started at the top, and as it burned, like hot burning bits of stuff would just come shooting down.
That's awesome. It sounds incredibly dangerous, but it sounds
was.
awesome.
And even as drunk as I was like, Scott, what are you doing?
I remember one time my dad and my uncle were trying to start a fire. Well, they weren't trying. They didn't need to do this, but they thought it would be a really fun idea. They just poured some gasoline on top of the fucking structure that Dad built for the fire. Just lit it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you two.
Fire's fun, but goddamn, people, have some respect.
Oh, well, that was a very Canadian way to end the stream.
Yeah, and you know what?
Cottaging.
It was again a very good palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser.
The serious issues and the tragedy and all that other fucked up stuff. Because if there's one thing I'll leave people off with, it's life's too short to dwell on that stuff. Yes, bad stuff happens, and yes, it's a tragedy, but you got to live your life, and you got to be happy in your life. And, you know, people like Gunfox who are just going to town, pumping out babies.
Yeah.
Good on people like you, because you still have that lust, that zest for life and enjoying life. And you and Pincalo just getting away to the cottage every now and then and throwing off the shackles of everything. And
it's awesome. It's great. And thank you guys for joining Functional and I today. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Gunfox, for the generous donations. And congratulations again, sir, for number 3. And catch me tomorrow afternoon on Twitch at 2 p.m. And also tomorrow on Minions at 11:30 p.m. with Prospero and the gang. And I'll be back again on Friday for the coffee stream. And I'm contemplating for Star Trek on Saturday. Because we went for the stuff that got us for, sad, angry, creeped out and stuff. I was thinking maybe we go for the stuff that was just outright hilarious.
Yeah.
I
like it.
Just go for the episodes / scenes and movies that just made us cackle.
Just give you that belly laugh, like Worf said, that will chill your soul.
Exactly.
I'm down. Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Awesome. So that's what's happening on Saturday. So join us for all of that, my friends, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Functional, for joining me.
Thank you.
And we will see you all later. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Oh, Canada.